Hey guys, Frosty Knives here, back with another video. And it is a new year, and this is a new series, and we finally made it. So welcome everyone to episode 1 of Frosty's EU reviews. And what a great way to start off this series than by reviewing and talking about James Luceno's book, Darth Plaqueis. This is an excellent book. This is a great entry point into the Star Wars universe, and this is a great way to kick off our journey into the Star Wars novels, because this is a wonderful, wonderful novel. Now, as you can imagine, Darth Plaqueis is the story of the tragedy of Darth Plaqueis the Wise. He takes a look at Plagueis' life. The book takes place over about a 40-year period, so 40 years, ending with the events that happened in Phantom Menace. It actually takes place about 67 years before the Battle of Yavin. We get to see Darth Plaqueis, also known as Hego Damask. He is a moon from Moonalist, part of the intergalactic banking clan, and he is also a Sith Lord. And we get to follow him through this 40-year period, starting with the murder of his own master, Darth Tenebrous. And we get to see him as he experiments with the Force, as he tries to conquer the mysteries of life and death. We get to follow him as he finds and takes Palpatine, also known as Darth Sidious, as his apprentice, and teaches him the ways of the dark side. And we also get to see as both of them start laying the foundations for what will eventually become the Trade Federation's blockade of Naboo, the building of the Clone Army, the eventual Clone Wars, and everything that comes after the Phantom Menace. And then, of course, the book ends with, as we all know, Darth Plaqueis being murdered by Sidious. So there's a lot in here to unpack, and James Luceno does an excellent, excellent job of tying everything together. So there are 3 reasons and 3 things I wanted to talk about why this book is so well written and why you should read it. The first is just the amount of threads and plot lines that Luceno is able to gather together and form and coalesce into a coherent backstory for Phantom Menace. This is in many ways a prequel to the Phantom Menace. You could read this book and then immediately go watch the movie or go read the novel, and it would flow right into it. As I have mentioned in other videos, one of the things that the expanded universe did was not only did it stay true to the canon of the movies, but the books also made sure to agree with all of the other events that happened in all of the other books. And Luceno does that. He ties in all of these threads, takes all of these breadcrumbs, all of this backstory, and there is a lot of it at this point. A lot of people, a lot of events, a lot of places, and he weaves them all together into one single coherent story that fits, that agrees, and that flows extremely nicely into the Phantom Menace. And that must have been a hell of a job to do, but he did it. And it was exceptionally well done. This is an exceptionally well-read novel and an easy-to-read novel, and it covers a lot of ground. Palpatine and Plagueis touch a lot of people and as they go along. So you get to see a lot of familiar faces that we'll get to see later on down the line. So that's one of the reasons why this book I think was so amazing. The other reason is just all of the individuals that Luceno name drops in this book, because Plagueis interacts with a lot of people, and you get to see them. Some of them are well-known people that we know. Others are people that, in chronological order, we're only meeting for the first time and only by name, that we will eventually get to in future books. So he's laying a lot of breadcrumbs. He's dropping names like, Gardula the Hutt. We get to see a little bit about her life and how she's trying to wrest control of Tatooine away from Jabba and the inter-war that those two are having. We get to see names like Garm Bel Iblis and Amon Desard, who eventually become people of the Empire that we will get to see in other books down the road. We get to see characters that were mentioned in the movies but never really got true backstories, like Master Sidious. This is the first time you actually get to see Sidious in any form. And you get to understand how he was sort of manipulated and coerced into authorizing the clone army at Kamino. So it was nice to see that, how the book sort of fills in some of the backstory. Prince Shizor from Black Sun shows up in name only. But again, we'll see these folks later on down the road. So it was nice to see all of this, how not only was he tying in threads that from movies and that have already existed, but he's also laying breadcrumbs and putting these names in front of people. So as we go down the line and we start to see and read those other books, and these people begin to crop up, and we begin to see their stories, it's a way of remembering. I remember those from the Plagueis book because those were some of the people that Darth Plaqueis interacted with. And the third reason that this is such a wonderful and great read is that this is the first Sith-centric novel that we have gotten outside of the Old Republic. Most of the novels in the expanded universe that we're going to read and that we're going to go through, they're from a Jedi point of view. You get to see the world through the Jedi's eyes, how they see the world, how they see their place in the world, how they view the Force, how they view the Order, how they think the Jedi Order should be, the history of the Jedi, the different ideas that each Jedi have of how the Force is and what it is and how it should be utilized. So there's a lot of Jedi-centric novels in the expanded universe, but there's not a lot of Sith novels. And this is quite possibly the best Sith-centric novel of the Rise of the Empire, New Republic books. There are two books when people want to know about the history of the Sith that people generally refer to. One is the Darth Bane trilogy, and that is a great Sith trilogy concerning the Old Republic. But for the modern era and the new age, Darth Plaqueis, if you really want to know how the Sith understand the Force, how they view their place in the universe, how they view their order, how they view the Jedi Order. This is a wonderful, wonderful book to read because you get everything that you know about the Star Wars universe and the Force, but you get it from a Sith perspective. And that is one of the things I really, really, really enjoyed about this book, was seeing everything that I knew, but seeing it through the eyes of a Sith Lord. People used to ask me, and still do, I've never read a Star Wars book. Which book do you recommend that I start with? And for years, I have told them, you should start with the Zahn novels. I have stayed fast to that and said, you should begin with Heir to the Empire and read the Zahn novels. After reading Darth Plagueis, I think I'm going to revise my answer to that question and tell people that you should start with this book, because this was so well written. It touches on so many things that you know. There's so many threads and breadcrumbs brought together, and it's written from the Sith viewpoint. So this is just a wonderful way for people who never read a Star Wars book, never read an expanded universe novel, to get into. I read this in very, very short order. It was very easy to read. James Luceno is a wonderful author. This is not his first book. We're going to read a lot more of his. He's got many, many more books to come that he wrote. He's written quite a bit in the Star Wars universe. So if you read Darth Plaqueis and you like the way he writes and you like the way he tells stories, there are more to come, and we're going to go over more down the road. I gave this book a solid 5 on Goodreads. This is a solid 5 across the board. This is regarded by many as one of the best offerings for the Star Wars expanded universe, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. That is correct. This is one of the better Star Wars novels, and I recommend that. I think that you should definitely read it, even if you're not a Star Wars fan, and even if you're not going to take the journey to read all of the books. I still think that Darth Plaqueis is worth your time, because it is a fascinating, fascinating read, and I highly recommend it. So guys, that is my review. Episode 1, first review for the EU novels. The next book that we're going to be reading will be Joe Schreiber's Mall Lockdown. Will be this one. This will be the next book. This is the Darth Maul centric book, so I'm very excited to read that. So guys, hope you liked the video. Hope you liked the series. Welcome to the new show that we're doing, and I'm really looking forward to taking this journey. We've got 141 books to go, because there's 142. I counted. We've got 141 to go in this journey. And if you stick with it to the end, you're not just a trooper. You're a super trooper. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it around, share it to all your friends, share it to your Jedi friends, share it to your Sith friends. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.